Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the best television show that is not on television. This is the Parlay with Awthentik and The Beard. It is week 10 of the National Football League, where the unexpected has become the expected. We are here to break down all of your fantasy football, all of your NFL betting. This is a one-stop shop for greatness. Let me bring in the left side to my strong side, Mr. Awthentik.
The great side to the weak side. You know, I like how you set that up, bro. That's what's good, man. How your morning been so far?
Good, man. Just trying to filter through all these injuries and, breaking news. I'm just looking at my phone, waiting for that Schefter, rap sheet text message /
I like
tweet,
that, the Schefter rap sheet.
So yeah, it's wild, man. And then obviously for the Giants, they have a bye week, and Washington football team has to face Tampa Bay. So it's actually an interesting game for Giants fans because you guys have Tampa Bay next week. So it's going to be interesting. There's not a lot of hope in most of the Washington football team community, but the way things have been going so far this season, I feel like maybe. I mean, look,
you never know.
The Dolphins just beat the Ravens on Thursday night. And, we saw last week the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills. So, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but it's going to be it's going to take quite the miracle. But I'm excited, man.
Yep.
And, we got a little DraftKings lineup that Awthentik and The Beard have put together, and we're going to show you guys that at the end of this show. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions regarding your fantasy football lineups or your NFL bets, to drop those questions in the chat, and we will do our best to answer all of them as we go along through this show. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for our new owner, Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, this is Lucas's podcast, Lucas and the Beard, because we made a little bit of a wager there where I said there was no way that the Miami Dolphins were going to beat the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. And the more and more that game went on, I was just like, I don't know what kind of juju Lucas put on them Ravens, but it definitely worked, man. I was feeling real shaky about that going into the third quarter. And then with the last chances in the fourth quarter, I was like, signing over them papers to Awthentik and The Beard to my man Lucas. So shout out to the homie Lucas one time in the building. Big time Miami Dolphins fan.
All right, let's say some hellos to the lovely people in the chat before we get this show rocking and rolling.
Let's get it.
You guys already know who was first in the building. Mr. Jameson Taylor, first again. Shout out to Jameson. Hope
Shout out,
you're
J-Mo.
doing well, brother. And Sunday, always holding us down in the chat. We appreciate it. Can't thank you enough for that. And Double Easy. Says, let's get this party started. Yo.
Hey, that's your thing on over the years. Welcome to the party. My man, what's good with y'all, man?
Surnox in the building says we are in this. Surnox and
sir.
his Houston Texans also have a bye this week. So he'll be, I'm sure, watching some Washington football.
Don't got to worry about the loss.
team.
Don't got to worry about the loss.
Big shout out to the homie Waterfly, always holding us down in chat, reminding you guys to like, subscribe, drop some biceps, and most importantly, enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Big shout out to Logix in the building. Good to see you,
Hey,
sir.
what up?
Appreciate you stopping by. Mac, the Giants fan,
Yes,
says,
sir. The
let's
nation is in the
go.
building. Let's get it.
Shout out to Giants Nation, always in the building. And our first question of the day comes from Kalen Dragon 56. Says, what's up, lads? Good to see y'all. The Ernest Johnson, MPJ, who I'm assuming is Michael Pittman Jr., or Adam Thielen for the flex?
I like Thielen. We kind of talked about this right before we went on air. I like Thielen. Been Kirk Cousins' go-to target pretty much for most of the year here. Michael Pittman Jr. has been balling out too, though. So I'd stay away from the running back in this situation, which is not like me normally.
Yeah, this is a good problem to have. I always think it's interesting when people have problems like this. Like, typically for me, it's like, do I play, Jordan Howard, Adrian Peterson,
or Boston Scott.
Or Boston Scott. Yeah. But I mean, Dearness Johnson is going to be the main guy today. He's going to have a opportunity to put up some monster numbers. Michael Pittman Jr. has been on an absolute tear. They are playing Jacksonville, but is there a possibility that game gets out of hand early and they end up going to the run game heavy? Adam Thielen, I think that game's going to be a shootout. So I think you have – the only thing is the Chargers have a really bad run defense, but their pass defenses can be suspect at times, but more times than others, their pass defense is really good. So they might run the ball a lot with Dalvin Cook, but I think that game is going to be a boat race. We'll save that graphic for that game. But
sure.
I think I'm going to agree with Thielen for sure. So it's a good problem to have, Kalen.
With Dearness Johnson, he's going to get almost all the touches, right? Because Demetric Felton is also out with COVID as well, too. So is there another running back in that situation at all?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I already forgot it. It's just – and they're a run-heavy team to begin with. So, I mean, he might get 30 touches today. That would be crazy, right?
Yeah, that
my
would be
favorite
crazy.
GQ name on the block, Mr. Edward Squires is in the building.
What up, dog? What up?
Sir Edward, thanks for stopping on by. Who else we got in the building early this morning? We got Lucas checking in from Australia. Even on a bye, the Giants community represents.
My man. Appreciate you pulling up, Lucas.
Always a pleasure. Bark Nasty in the building says buys suck.
They sure do. I always tell people, man, I'd rather watch bad Giants football than no Giants football. It's just feeling real strange. I got a late start to the morning. Yeah, I could definitely use some Giants football today for sure.
Don't worry, Bark Nasty. It's not a goodbye. It's a I'll see you later. Enjoy that. Ash Money in the building. What's going on, Ash Money? Good to see you, sir.
Ash. How you living, fam?
Dan is in the building. Dan,
with the last name, it does seem like it should be a Don. I kind of thought the same thing. It's a little small on my screen here.
Shout out to Dan in the building.
What up, Dan? What up?
Brian in the building. Brian Portas says,
yeah, Brian been pulling up. What's up, Brian?
Sunday. Good to see you. Jeff.
Yeah, Brian was one who responded on the Kid Blue post about Lamar Jackson. Not being able to throw the ball and all kind of craziness. And, I told y'all he'll crumble and all this after one game. So shout out my man Brian one time. He's got two good eyes over there.
Jeff Maldo, 76, in the building. Thank you for stopping by. And
what up, Jeff?
Shout out, I don't know if he's in here yet or if he'll be in here, but shout out BB Jones. His comments on our videos be having me dying.
You was late on that one, dog. It took you like 2 weeks to respond to that one comment. I was wondering where you was at.
He said, I'm going to start calling you Dora the Explorer, the way you be mapping out all these Cowboy losses. Tonio Bot is in the building. What's up,
going
Tonio?
On?
Good to see you. Balby. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, what's up, Balby? It's been a minute, man. Hope all is well, brother.
Lax Ofofo is in the building. Should I start OBJ, AP, or Emmanuel Sanders?
Ooh, that's tough. I'd go AP probably. Tough. Maybe Emmanuel Sanders, one of them. I'm staying away from OBJ for this first week. They talking about. I saw them saying he might return punts. I'm like, y'all just want players to get hurt.
Bad. That's a really tough one. Emmanuel Sanders has kind of he's been like this lately. Like he has a crazy game and then he'll pop up with 0 catches. So it's really tough. I mean, Adrian Peterson did lead that backfield in carries last week in his first week back. So I think I might roll with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, he got a touchdown too.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that was a old school Adrian Peterson touchdown too.
For sure.
Big shout out to Neymar. Says, I am very upset that the New York Giants playing today. I wish they were.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you.
And big shout out to Art Vandelay. Dan is in the building. Appreciate you stopping by. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets is in the building. Josh Colin's in the building. Nate's talks football. Nate talks sports.
What up, Nate?
Both in the building.
Got to chop it up with Nate one time on Big Blue in the Bronx channel. That's a good one. Y'all make sure to go check that out on Spotify.
Kyle Keys in the building. Noah Rivera's in the building. El Jefe's in the building.
What's up, fam? I got to catch that latest video. I haven't seen that one yet. I'm sure that's hilarious.
And big shout out to Anthony Bluegrass Picker for always holding us down. Appreciate you,
What's up, Anthony?
sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to jump right into today's games, and we are going to start the day off with the New Orleans Saints, who are 5-3. They are heading to Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans are 7-2. The Titans are 2.5-point favorites. The over/under in this game is 43.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This would have been a game that would have featured two of the best running backs in the National Football League earlier this season in Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry. As you know, Derrick Henry is on IR looking for a hopeful playoff return. Alvin Kamara is also out this week. Julio Jones for the Tennessee Titans has also been sent to the IR. So you got a lot of star players here that are not playing. And not to mention Jameis Winston is not playing quarterback, so we get another week of Trevor Siemian with a little bit of sprinkles of Taysom Hill. The Tennessee Titans are 6-0 this season against playoff teams. Their defense has been playing better than it has I can remember over the last couple of years. They have 11 takeaways in their last 5 games. That's 7 interceptions and 4 fumble recoveries. A.J. Brown should probably have a big game. He had 11 targets last week. Looking for him to kind of step up in the absence of Julio Jones and Derrick Henry. He is their playmaker now. So this is an important game for him. He's got to step up and make a play. And as we talked about in the beginning of the show, Adrian Peterson, led the backfield in carries. So he had 10 carries last week. I would imagine that number probably jumps up a little bit now that he's got a week under his belt. Mark Ingram, I think, is poised to have a big game. I forget what the total was. It was 30 yards away from being the all-time Saints leading rusher, which is super interesting. So I'm looking for Mark Ingram to have a pretty big game here today. This is going to be a tough one to kind of call because there's so many injuries. So you would imagine the Tennessee Titans here are they would step up and get this victory since they're 6-0 against playoff teams, and the Saints have no Alvin Kamara, have no Michael Thomas, have no Jameis Winston. So it's like, where are the Saints going to get their offense from? But their defense has been carrying them a lot so far this season. Me personally, I think I have to take the Tennessee Titans minus a 2.5. That over/under, though, at 43.5, this might be a sloppy game. A defensive battle. So I think I'm going to take the under. What are your thoughts on this game?
You never know with the Saints, man. Like you said, their defense has been balling out, especially against the run. They've played well. I do think that this game is definitely going to be, fantasy-wise, a battle of the 2 backup running backs here, or the 2 newly arrived running backs, in Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram last week, he had 5 receptions. He finished with 64 total yards. It's surprising to me that these running backs are just getting implemented so quickly as soon as they've been signed, but I think these teams are in desperation mode. With no Alvin Kamara today, man, I'm leaning on Mark Ingram pretty heavy. I'd say second running back-ish kind of zone. Adrian Peterson, only 21 yards last week, 2.1 yards per carry. Wasn't that good, but he found his way into the end zone. So, I guess you can bank on him getting touches around the goal line, which could probably sneak you away with a touchdown or 2 maybe in this game. And you talked about the Titans' defense, man. Titans' defense has been much improved over these last couple of years. They lead the league right now in total pressures at 100. You saw them handle Matthew Stafford and the Rams just a couple weeks back here. I'd like them to get a couple of sacks on the day, maybe a turnover or 2. And we were talking about this off air, trying to figure out how to pronounce homie's last name, but we believe it's Kevin Byard, second in the league in interceptions right now with 5, and also outside linebacker Harold Landry is third in the league in sacks with 9 right now. Tennessee is also second in the league in defensive touchdowns. They've got 3 defensive touchdowns, so I like that defense today as a start. As far as the game, the over/under is a little bit sketchy. Like you said, this might be a bit of a sloppy game, but it's going to be hard to tell here. So I'm going to just go with my gut here. I'm going to take the over in this game. I think we're going to get there. And, Titans 2.5. This is tough. No Alvin Kamara. I got to go with the Titans to cover.
Yeah, and just a quick little update from the homie Shefty. He just told me that Rondell Moore will play today. They're still waiting for pregame warm-ups for Hopkins and Kyler Murray, but they don't sound optimistic on either. So just a quick little update for you guys. We're going to move into the next game, which, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, do they have, like, the easiest schedule, like, ever? I feel like they've played the Texans, the Jets, the Jaguars.
Yeah, what's going on with that? I mean, the Jets are in their division. They get to play them twice,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it always helps when you're in a true garbage division where you get these kind of games. In
Yeah,
NFC
so
East, we know it's a bad division, but we're not getting these kind of games.
Well, I mean, that we'll see that first time the Cowboys play the Washington football team, but we'll say that for another day. The Buffalo Bills are 5-3. They are once again double-digit favorites. They are 13.5-point favorites at the New York Jets, who are 2-6. The over/under in this game is 48.5 points. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your boy is back at starting quarterback for the New York Jets.
Who's boy?
Mike White. That's your boy.
Oh, Mike White. Okay. Well, I mean, didn't he? Okay, so wait, didn't he get the start last game though? He got knocked out.
He got hurt. And
Right.
Then Josh Johnson, who's both of our boy, came
I like
in
Josh
and balled
Johnson. I'm
out.
gonna keep it
Dude,
funky.
you know
That's my guy.
we're big Josh Johnson. Shout out Josh Johnson. Anytime you want to come on the show, Josh Johnson, open invitation.
Open invitation for sure.
Open invitation for Josh Johnson. Listen, Michael Carter, the last 3 games, has started to kind of like take over the reins at that running back position for the New York Jets. I was high on him, and we have him on our fantasy football team, the Awthentik and The Beard fantasy football team.
And one of our better football teams. I will keep it funky.
The last couple of weeks, he's been pretty good. He's got 362 total yards, only 1 touchdown, which is kind of like concerning. But that's something that I feel like will come over time. Just being put in the right situations. But he's a dual threat running back, so obviously you're kind of gonna get some of those points when he catches the ball out of the backfield. The Bills are looking to bounce back. That game against the Jacksonville Jaguars last week, that did not look like the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs has kind of had a quiet year in comparison to a Diggs big year. So I think this is a good opportunity for the Bills to get right. Like, you don't really see, I wouldn't imagine to see them going back and back with like against the Jets and the Jags and just laying duds back to back. I think they're going to come out here with something to prove. The Bills are first in the league in overall defense, and the New York Jets are dead last in overall defense. Zach Moss is another play I kind of like in this game. He's coming back from, I believe it was concussion protocol. So I think he'll have a big day today as well. And Corey Davis is coming back for the New York Jets. So that's another name to kind of keep your eye out. I can't take the Buffalo Bills to cover that 13.5. It feels like another setup.
That Jaguars game got you a little lit right now.
It does. And I don't know, man. Like, Mike, are we going to ride the Mike White wave until it crashes? I mean,
I think I'll put up some numbers, but I don't.
That's
think
what I'm saying. Like,
competing.
they might backdoor cover. I'm not saying the Jets are going to compete necessarily, but I think that they get a late score and they probably lose by like 13 points. So I will take the Bills to win, but I don't think I would take the Bills to win, the Jets to cover, and I'm going to take the 48.5. That means the Jets got to put up a good amount of points, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the under. I don't know.
I'm with you on that too. You got to take the under in this game. I don't see the Jets putting up enough points. I mean, granted though, their quarterbacks are throwing multiple touchdowns when Zach Wilson is not in the lineup, which is the most strangest thing after spending all that capital on a second overall pick. But I like Devin Singletary in this game. The Jets have allowed 39 points to running backs this season, an average of 39 fantasy points, which that's kind of crazy. They've also allowed the most catches per game at 8, most yards per game, and are tied for the most touchdowns to all running backs. So they've allowed 16 touchdowns. They've allowed 197.1 yards, and they've allowed 8 catches per game. So I'd look for the Bills running back committee to feast in this game. I thought I heard something about Zach Moss maybe being questionable or something like that. I'm not too sure about that, but I do like Devin Singletary. He did clear, okay.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen to bounce back, man. Josh Allen had multiple touchdowns passing and rushing in every game except that Jaguars game. On the season right now, 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, over 2,200 yards. And coming off that game that just didn't look like he was himself in that game. So I'd look for him to bounce back in this game too. I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to take the Bills to cover, man. I don't see the Jets hanging with the Bills. And this, you got the game against the Jaguars with the Bills where you let them hang around. If you are really, truly a true playoff team and a Super Bowl contender, you should put the Jets away no problem today.
Absolutely. So quick question from the chat from Kyle Key says Christian Kirk or Jarvis Landry. That's a tough one because obviously Landry is the guy now. Christian Kirk has been balling out lately when given the opportunity. And, we just talked about Hopkins possibly not being available in this game. I think I'm going to have to lean Christian Kirk. Although I wouldn't be mad at Jarvis Landry, but it's just I feel like in the offense that they play in is more open for Kirk to get more points than it is for Landry to get points.
Yeah, and you can't forget it's Baker Mayfield over there. He had one of his better games of the season, and he had 14 completions on the day. I know he had a lot of yards, but two of the big catches really gave him a lot of those yards to Peoples-Jones. I actually like him a little bit more as a down-the-field threat than I like Jarvis Landry just at the moment, just because the way Baker Mayfield, his style of play and how reliant upon the run they are. So, yeah, give me Christian Kirk in that one, especially with D-Hop banged up, not maybe going to play in this game.
So Lucas wants to know who is the number one quarterback on DraftKings today. That's a tough call, man. I'll give you 4 to choose from. I like Josh Allen because he'll get you some points with his legs also. I like Justin Herbert. I like Kirk Cousins. And
see if you name my guy.
I'm either gonna go Dak Prescott or Aaron Rodgers 4A, 4B.
I like Derek Carr against the Kansas City Chiefs pass defense today. I think that could be a major sleeper right there. And he's
is that a
coming off
night
a bad
game? That's a night game, though, right?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night game.
That's a night game. So they won't be on the main slate for DraftKings. But if you're playing the DraftKings Showdown, so just that game, I like that Derek Carr play. I really do. That's a sneaky
Derek
one.
Carr. Any others out there? Yeah, that's you probably got Tom Brady. Tom Brady against Washington.
Brady. That's the other one for sure. Yeah.
He said for sure.
Shout out to Zachary wants to know, fellas, Mike White or Patty? It sounds like you shouldn't even be asking that question, but I guess in the 2021 NFL season.
Are we talking about Pat Mahomes?
Yeah, it's.
Oh man, I can't do it. I just can't start Mike White over Patrick Mahomes. And the Raiders defense is not fantastic. You saw Daniel Jones see some success when they tried to throw the ball, and at least it was an efficient game from Daniel Jones. So I don't know, man. I'm looking for Patrick Mahomes to really make that turn right here at the midway point of the season and really get back to his true form. I don't know what's going on over there. I know the defense is not helping, but offensively they're not looking that great. And I think you could take the touchdowns with the turnovers that are happening right now. He's still putting up big touchdown numbers. I think it's like 19 or something like that.
Yeah, so you have to go with Patrick Mahomes because that one time that you start Mike White over Patrick Mahomes comes back to Patrick Mahomes' alien self, and then you're like, what was I thinking? And
Mike White coming off a wrist injury on the throwing hand, too. Can't forget that.
Very, very good point. Very good point. All right, next game on the slate is going to be the Detroit Lions, who are 0-8. They are going to Pittsburgh to face the 5-3 Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 5.5 points. The over-under is 40.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The line on this game has changed drastically because Big Ben is out with COVID. And unfortunately, I thought my boy Dwayne Haskins might get the start, but it's looking more like a, Mason Rudolph game. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I just got the word that James Robinson's going to be out for the day, so make sure you get him up out of your lineups with the Jaguars and whatnot. As far as this Lions-Steelers game here, man, I really like Najee Harris.
I think he will play today.
Oh, he will play. Maybe I read that wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, will play. Yeah, it is will play. Sorry about that. Will play. He's battling the heel injury. Will play. Yeah, I read that wrong. But as far as this Lions-Steelers game, I like Najee Harris, man. Detroit has given up 29.9 fantasy points per game. It's the second most in the NFL right now. 2 running backs. It also includes 16 touchdowns, which is tied with the Jets. That's really not good. So I think Najee Harris is going to have a smash week. Another one that's been balling out that I actually drafted early on in fantasy. Late round, I scooped him up. Pat Freiermuth, he's starting to, turn the corner here, man. Last week he had a touchdown and 44 yards. Or that's week 8, I'm sorry. And in week 9, he had 2 touchdowns and 43 yards. So is this going to be a breakout for him? We'll see, man. But stringing together a couple of games like that, definitely on my radar here. 0-8 Detroit Lions, I don't see them getting their first victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers, even with a backup quarterback out there. I think it's going to be an ugly game plan here for the Steelers. We'll see Mike Tomlin rely heavily on the run. And, hopefully for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that gets them out of here with a victory. I'm going to go ahead and take the over 40.5 on this one. And I think it'll be a close game. I think the Steelers don't cover this one, actually. I think the Lions will cover here. It'll be about a 3-point game, 3-4-point game.
I think I'm pretty much in that same boat. Look, this is going to be probably a big game for running backs. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams is out. DeAndre Swift had an opportunity to take over that lead running back role last week and didn't really perform up to what I thought he would. But he does lead all running backs with 47 receptions in the National Football League so far this season. And you talked about Najee Harris. Najee Harris, I think, is just going to have a monster day. He has to against the Detroit Lions. I was leaning towards Deontay Johnson and James Washington because no Chase Claypool, and we already know Juju's out. But then Big Ben goes down. Maybe they still are viable options because – Big Ben hasn't had the best of year. Maybe Mason Rudolph comes out and, pulls a little Mike White out of his hat. You just don't know, And TJ Watt, this guy's probably going to have 5 sacks today. If you've watched any Lions football, Jared Goff is running for his life almost every single play. TJ Watt has 11.5 sacks on the year. Goff's been sacked 22 times. And then Pat Freiermuth, you talked about him, including those touchdowns and the yards. His targets are up right now. Last 3 games, 7 targets, 6 targets. So especially in DraftKings, he's probably going to be one of the more higher owned tight ends on DraftKings today because he's so cheap and he's getting the targets. And everybody knows a running back and a tight end are a backup quarterback's best friends. So I'm going to agree with you as far as the Lions covering, Steelers winning, and I like the over as well. We did have a couple questions. Big shout out to Jeff Maldo, 76, says, terrible season for me. Tim Patrick or Tyler Johnson? I think Godwin's going to play. So even though I doubt I think he'll probably be on some sort of snap count. I do like Tyler Johnson, but I think I'm going to go Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going Tim Patrick. Coming off a big game, too. Had a couple big catches last week.
And then in real or fake dinosaurs, I'm going to go with fake today in the
I did. I saw the thumbnail on Tommy. They wilding with that thumb. I was like, what is this show about? Tommy is so wild, bro. Creative, yo.
Big shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says, Saluti, Giants Paisani. Drive by your office to pay our proper respects and turn on the lights for the sit down and slap all Stinky Eagles fans on the way out.
Big salute to the homie Tuto one time in the building, man. We appreciate the love, appreciate the support, appreciate you pulling up, brother.
And big shout out to the homie Nick the Wick for the $4.99 super chat. Says, who for the flex? Antonio Gibson, Devin Singletary, Naheem Hines, or Noah Fant? Ooh, now that's a juicy question. I'll let you tackle that one first.
Noah Fant right off the bat, man. Just, when he's healthy or, not dealing with COVID, he's had a really good season there. Devin Singletary would probably be my, man, because they're going up against the Jets. He's going to see a lot of volume. I tell you what, I'll switch that up. Devin Singletary is probably my 1A, and 1B would be Noah Fant.
Man, that's super tough. Devin Singletary is their leading rusher, but it feels like Zach Moss is always having the better game. Naheem Hines is like just make or break. He might end up if the Colts can jump out into a huge lead, Naheem Hines might end up getting a little bit more burn. Antonio Gibson is still dealing with the injury. That offense is all over the place. He has potential to be an RB1, but he could be an RB3. It's just so up in the air. I like the Noah Fant play. I think I would go with Noah Fant also.
It is tough because Gibson coming off the bye, you want to hope that he got healthy and he'll see the majority of the touches because last week you could tell they were struggling to get him carries. It seemed like the injury was definitely lingering. You saw some more carries from Patterson and you saw some more carries from J.D. McKissick. So if he could be that prime guy, it'd be an easy pick to go Antonio Gibson, but that it's a little bit sketchy with the injury.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then speaking of Nyheim Hines, let's go ahead and run into this. Oh, never mind. That's a couple games away. We're going Tampa Bay, 6-2.
Nah, I don't got Tampa here. You got Tampa?
No?
You want to go Tampa? I
No,
had
I
Jags
thought
Colts.
Oh, you do have Jags Colts. Okay. So up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to the Indianapolis Colts. This matchup is the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-6. The Colts are 4-5. The Colts are 10.5-point favorites. The over/under is 47.5. Kickoff is Sunday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jonathan Taylor. His last 6 games, 650 rushing yards, 223 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, he balled.
I mean, the dude is in my honest opinion, he's going to end up winning the rushing title this year. I mean, obviously, a lot of that has to do with Derrick Henry going down, Nick Chubb being out a couple of games, but Jonathan Taylor will end up finishing the season as the leading rusher in the National Football League. Urban Meyer, Jacksonville Jaguars coach, did face Jonathan Taylor 3 times when he was at the University of Wisconsin, and Urban Meyer was the head coach at Ohio State. So he knows a little bit of something about Jonathan Taylor that might benefit the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, Josh Allen's coming off the game of his life last week and winning AFC Defensive Player of the Week. It's going to be very interesting because Jacksonville on 3rd down is really bad. If they want to be able to kind of hang in this game, they're going to have to convert some 3rd downs, especially the 3rd and longs. So 3rd and 5 or more yards, Jacksonville Jaguars are 8 of 55, 14% on 3rd downs.
3rd and what?
3rd and 5 or more. So
that's
like,
horrible.
if that's how do you operate an offense like that? So they got to get some yardage on 1st and 2nd down, because obviously if it's 3rd and 5 or long, I mean, you can almost chalk that up as not converting. James Robinson, as Awthentik mentioned earlier, is going to play. How effective and healthy is he going to be? Because when he's in the game, he's really the Jaguars' offense. I mean, he's the best player, most consistent player on the offensive side of the ball. I don't see how can Jacksonville win 2 games in a row? I mean, that would be kind of crazy, right? The Colts,
I mean, that would be very crazy against 2 teams that are rather in the mix right now too. And just got some news that Cam Newton is actually expected to be active. Might have some package plays. They're just like signing people, wheeling, dealing, like throwing them right on the field, like fresh off the streets. Wanted to touch on something you were talking about with the leading rushers right now in the rushing title in the NFL, this is super surprising to me. Mark Ingram is in 4th place behind the 2 injured running backs with Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb in the top 3 with Jonathan Taylor, but Mark Ingram is number 4. That's very surprising. And then number 5 is Lamar Jackson. What if Lamar Jackson won the rushing title?
That would be insane.
Absolutely nuts right there, man. I don't think I could see it, but it would definitely have to be relying upon him just getting the touches. If he could get the touches and they, rely the whole offense on him running the rock like that, I think it could be. We might see a quarterback be the leading rusher in the NFL, which that has never happened, I believe, right?
No way. No
That's
way.
never happened.
I mean, I'm sure Mike Vick probably got up there maybe a couple of times.
I don't even think Mike Vick got up there for real, because you can't forget back in the day, we used to run the rock a lot more heavy.
Very true. Very, very true. I can't go with Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts to cover the 10.5, and I'm going to take the over 47.5.
I'm right there with you. I'm going to take the over. I don't think the Colts going to cover, though. I think it'll be a little closer than we think. Maybe an 8-point game, something like that late. We'll see. I mean, the Jaguars are coming off a big-time win against one of the better teams in the NFL. They should be riding a little bit of momentum here. Hopefully they bring that in and maybe can see themselves to an early lead in this game, and then the Colts will have to battle back to get the W late. We'll see how that goes, though. We can't leave that game without talking about Michael Pittman.
My boy.
Michael Pittman Jr., 4 touchdowns in his past 3 games, and he's got 64 yards in all of those games, at least 64 yards. And I'll tell you what, who's quietly having a really, really good season? Carson Wentz, man.
Yeah. It's
You see
kind
them
of crazy,
stats?
right? Yes.
18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 22 fantasy points per game right now in PPR. He's got 2,198, almost 2,200 yards on the year, man. That dude's definitely doing his thing right now. And I know them Eagles are looking kind of a little salty over there.
Dwayne Haskins is active for the first time all season.
That don't matter. Oh, let me.
I don't care.
You know Spike don't care nothing about no Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, man, Dwayne.
Man, Dwayne.
Haskins.
Have we ever had a good quarterback named Dwayne? Dwayne, I'm open.
Yeah. He's good at getting to the strippers, though. Anyways.
Yeah,
so
he might get into this game. Your boy Mason Rudolph, you know, he like to take a couple shots, might get hit, get knocked out of this one.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions, are coming to town to face the Washington football team. I was looking up this game, and somebody had wrote it, and it said Tampa Bay versus the Washington Footballers. I was like, what?
Come on. We got to get a name.
Oh,
Got to get a
man,
name
Tampa
for them
Bay,
guys.
yeah, it's coming soon. Hopefully they don't drop the ball on that. Tampa Bay 6-2. They're 9.5-point favorites. They are the Washington football team's 2-6. The over/under in this game is crazy, 50.5 points. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Scotty Boom. It's his birthday today, and he said, all I want for my birthday is for the Washington football team to cover 9.5 points. So
Good luck.
well, that's what I said. I said, if your birthday was on Christmas and it was a Christmas Boom's miracle, then maybe. But, yeah, this is going to be a tough game. If Washington wants to win this game, they're going to have to do it on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have to get some turnovers. They're going to have to get some sacks. They have to hold Tampa Bay to less than 28 points. That's the only way. I mean, Taylor Heineke is going to have to score points too, because I figure if Washington's defense plays well enough to hold them under 27 points, the question is, can Washington score more than 27 points? I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, they were doing it earlier in the year, but like it just feels like this offense is just not clicking. The red zone is going to be the difference in this game. Washington can't score in the red zone. They're 31st in the National Football League, 10 of 22, converting 45.5%. But Washington's defense, you know, as long as they can hold them to 3 in the red zone, which has been difficult because Tampa Bay is 25 of 37 in the red zone, which is 7th in the National Football League, converting 67.6% of their red zone attempts. So this is a tough game. And then fantasy-wise, I'm sure everybody in the world is getting ready to play Tom Brady because they think Tom Brady might throw 5 touchdowns in this game. Now, Curtis Godwin is somebody who we're watching. Chris, I always do that. Curtis Samuel,
It's
Chris
me
Godwin.
and Aaron Donald and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, because you know Curtis Samuel has been not played he's played like 7 snaps all season long, and he is not going to be in this game. But Chris Godwin is apparently looking like he's going to play. We'll see how much he actually plays. I think Tampa Bay is going to win the game, but just for Scotty Booms, I'm going to say Washington football team covers the 9.5. To over 50 points. Yeah, we're gonna go over. Tom Brady's probably gonna throw 4 touchdowns. So yeah, that's where
I like the over in this game. I'm with you on that. I definitely like the over in this game because Washington's probably gonna have to battle to just try to keep it close with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been on fire. Kyle Key, I like that little stat nugget you call him right there. He's due for a bounce back game like that too. I think the reason why this Washington football team offense is not clicking is straight up because of Antonio Gibson, man. That injury really put a halt to how your offense was moving the first 3 to 4 games of the year. And I think it's really making Taylor Heineke look like a real backup, like a true backup, McCown backup status right now, where in the beginning of the year he was looking a lot better, at least putting up touchdowns on the board to compensate for the amount of turnovers that he had. But I'd look for Leonard Fournette to bounce back in this game. Now, the Saints held him in check in their last game before the bye. He only had 7 fantasy points in week 8. But he's got 4 touchdowns in his last 4 games. And outside of that game against the Saints, I mean, he was on a tear for 3 games straight. He was literally about to light it up for 4 games. They found a way to stop him, as the Saints have done to a lot of running backs this year. And I also like the matchup that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have as well, because Washington's pass defense this year, man, has been super suspect. Right now, they're allowing 199 yards per game to wide receivers only, and they've allowed 11 touchdowns to wide receivers through 9 weeks of football. And also, they've allowed 43 fantasy points per game to wide receivers. It's the second most in the NFL. So I'd look for every wide receiver on this Bucs offense to go off. If they're available, put them in your lineup. See what you can get out of them. But I do think Washington is going to keep it close. We can't forget that Taylor Heineke did have a really good game against this front seven in the playoffs, found a way to dodge and maneuver and dip, dodge, duck, dive, dip his way to a touchdown and a passing touchdown in that game. So I don't know if he can repeat the performance, but in the playoff game, he had 306 yards passing, he had 46 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, against the Bucs in that wild card weekend game. The Bucs might be a better team now. They're riding that Super Bowl high. You coming into the year with confidence, and they're coming off a tough game that they had right before the bye as well. So I'd look for them to try to beat the brakes off the Washington football team today. But I do think, I'm gonna go with you. Scotty's birthday. I think Washington can cover this one. I'm gonna go a 9-point game. I'm gonna go a 9-point game.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna go 38-29.
Godwin is officially active. That
Nice.
just came in. So just in case anybody was wondering, a couple quick questions before we get to the next game. C-Bands never stay lacking 45. Fant or Schultz? I'm going with Noah Fant because I think Gallup is back, and I think that kind of eats into Schultz's targets.
Oh, I'll kind of disagree with you there. I think that's going to eat more into Cedric Wilson's targets. I like both of these tight ends, actually. I think you could flip a coin on them, man. Fant should be coming back strong off the COVID, and Schultz has showed out pretty much all year long. I think I go Schultz, man. I think I go Schultz. More of a vertical passing game, I feel like, with the Cowboys over there. So I think I go Schultz first, but either or is going to work out for you.
And shout out to Jaden Medina. Bridgewater or Carr, as much as I like the way Teddy's playing lately, I think Derek Carr has an opportunity to put up bigger numbers. So fantasy-wise, I think I would go Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr coming off that tough game, 3 turnovers against the New York Giants last week. So I know he's looking for a bounce-back game. And Bridgewater's coming off of one of his better games of the year against the Cowboys, man, where he played really clean football. I think it was almost 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's another one that you might want to just flip the coin. But I think I'm going to go Derek Carr. Yeah, no. I'm taking it back. I'm going Teddy Bridgewater because I think that the Chiefs, they're trying to figure it out right now. And I think at this point in the season, they got to figure it out now or never. I'm thinking this might be the game where they figure it out. Derek Carr has not a horrible day, but I don't think it'll be a great day. I'm going to go Teddy Bridgewater in a game that I think might be a bit of a shootout against the Eagles.
And last question before we move to the next game. James Funk checking in from Facebook says, I can only flex one. Michael Carter, Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Gallup, or Dawson Knox.
That's tough. Dawson Knox, super touchdown dependent. Not really a factor in their offense outside of the red zone, if you ask me. Gallup's just coming back off the IR. Probably not going to see a bunch of snaps. I think they'll split snaps with Cedric Wilson. I think I like Michael Carter.
I'm right there with you. I'm going with Michael Carter in that game because, it's a tough matchup against Buffalo, but it's just he's been playing really well, and all those other guys are just – he's going to touch the ball more than all those other guys, like theoretically as a running back. And if Emmanuel Sanders, like I said, he's had a couple of games in the last couple of weeks where he's had 0. Michael Gallup's coming back off an injury. Dawson Knox coming back off an injury. I have to go Michael Carter by default in that situation.
Yeah. It's not
all right.
thing.
Next game on the slate is going to be the Cleveland Browns, who are 5-4. They're headed to New England. The Patriots, who are also 5-4. The Patriots are actually favored in this game by 2.5 points. The over-under is 45. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think everybody by now knows this game is all about D'Ernest Johnson. We saw what he did with his opportunity that Thursday night game. It was a phenomenal showing. I think, he's going to have to do the same this week. That offense is run heavy, and they don't really have a lot of depth in this game, particularly because of Nick Chubb being out on COVID, Felton being out on COVID, and Kareem Hunt being on IR. I think Cleveland's defense steps up in this game. You have Ward and Newsome. They are tied for 5th for most forced incompletions by cornerbacks in the league this year. So I think they're going to give Mac Jones a little bit of trouble. I think you might see a multi-interception game today from Mac Jones. I think the Cleveland and Dearness Johnson kind of just run their way to victory. I'm going to take Cleveland to win outright. So maybe if you don't think they'll win, you can take them to +2.5. But I think Cleveland wins outright, and I'm going to take the under 45 in this game. I think we get close to 45, but I don't think we quite get there. I think you might see like a 23-20 sort of game. That's where I'm going to go. What about you, Awthentik?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is a big test game for Mac Jones here. You know, dealing with all the injuries in the running back situation there in the running back room. Ramondre Stevenson did clear protocol. We talked about that a little bit before the show, but Damian Harris out. I don't know if it's going to be J.J. Taylor or Brandon Bolden that'll see a couple of more snaps with Harris out of the lineup. But I like the Browns defense in this game. I'm starting the Browns defense. I had a choice to either pick the Browns defense or the Broncos defense or the Eagles defense. And I like the Browns in this matchup, man. They're one of the top defenses against the run this year. And you got a young quarterback here, man. I'm looking to Bill Belichick to be able to try to figure out things for Mac Jones. I mean, as far as all the quarterbacks in the league right now, and outside of even just rookies, Mac Jones is dealing with one of the worst situations, I feel like, as far as weapons over there. You got two guys that kind of do the same thing at the tight end position, and then the wide receiver room is just straight lacking. I thought they were going to be the number one landing spot for Odell Beckham Jr., but that didn't work out, and the Rams end up scooping them. But I like the Browns' defense in this one, and I think they'll keep it a low-scoring game. So I'm going to definitely take the under, and I'm going to take the Browns to cover that 2.5.
It's going to be interesting. All right, let me ask you a quick question. Over or under 100 total yards for Dearness Johnson in this game?
I'll go over. Got to go over.
Over?
Yeah, they're predicated on the run. That's the one thing I love about the Browns. They don't change their identity when they got players knocked out of the lineup, and we saw that last time Dearness stepped in the game. So, you know, I'd look for a little bit of the same thing. Good amount of touches in the running game. Definitely look forward to seeing him in the passing game as well, too. We'll probably get a couple receptions out there. I'd look for probably over 125, 130 for real. He's going to be the main engine for this offense today.
It's going to be interesting. Big shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says NFL's one-way highway. You're either a winner or a loser. Bad record and season are results of incompetent coaches, poor offseason training, and preparation. Shout out to Tuto for $4.99 super chat.
In the building. My man, what's good,
Shout
brother?
out to Nick the Wick for the $4.99 super chat. Says Cortland Sutton, Cole Beasley, Jarvis Landry can start either two of them and Fant at flex or all three of them. My team sucks. I need a lot of help.
So two of them and Fant at flex or all three of them. I like Noah Fant, so let's go Noah Fant in the mix for sure. I think I'll go Fant, Beasley, and Landry.
I'm going to go Fant, Landry, and Sutton. Cortland Sutton's had a tough time when Jerry Jeudy's in the lineup, but I think that they're going to have to put up some points against the Eagles, believe it or not, in today's matchup. So,
what do you think about this situation here? And this is a little bit off that topic, but if Mike White continues to keep balling, do you think that Zach Wilson could be a situation that was kind of like the Arizona Cardinals with Josh Rosen?
No. I don't think that situation is very different for multiple reasons. The first reason being that I think Zach Wilson is a better quarterback than Josh Rosen. I also think that because the Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury after they had already drafted Josh Rosen, and then Kyler Murray became available because of their relationship with each other, he knew that he could make things happen.
Well, you know, outside of the semantics of it, more or less what I'm saying is a high draft pick at quarterback that's not playing well, and then you get another guy that is playing well. Could that be enough to move on from that number 2 quarterback and trade him while his value is still kind of high? You know, he is still a second overall pick, or do you think that they're going to just die on that Zach Wilson hill?
I think they'll die on the Zach Wilson. I think you might see Mike White. You might see them ride him a little bit longer this season. And I think that might actually be beneficial for Zach Wilson and maybe in turn beneficial for Mike White. Maybe it gets Mike White an opportunity somewhere else, but I don't think that this is a Josh Rosen type of situation, because Mike White's been in the league for 4 years. It's a little bit different. So but I do think Mike White might, if he continues to play well today, he might get another start and then, maybe even further starts down the road. And I think maybe if they would trade somebody, I don't know Mike White's contract situation, but I think they would move Mike White, and I think they're going to die on the Zach Wilson shield.
Which would be terrible, because that'll make for 2 straight quarterbacks, because while Arizona was doing all that, wheeling, dealing quarterbacks like it was nothing, they were hanging their hat on Sam Darnold for 3 years, I believe it was. He was over there. Wasting a lot of time, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just there's so many different things that go into that scenario, so it's just a little different. But I think Zach Wilson's a good quarterback. I didn't think Sam Darnold was a good
I always
quarterback.
think about what Colin Cowherd says about him. He celebrates too much. How you a bum and you celebrating?
His mom's a little crazy too. So, big shout out to Independent Outsider for the $2 super chat. In fantasy, what Brown benefits from OBJ's departure? Donovan People-Jones?
Brown. Yeah, and we saw that in the first game, actually. He had the 2 big catches. I think he had like 80-plus yards. Yeah, he's probably, Baker Mayfield, maybe. When Baker Mayfield is forced to not throw the ball down the field, he looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And I talked about those stats. Everybody was like, he's better without Odell, but it's like my dude completed 14 passes. And they blew out whoever that was they played. I can't remember who they played, but that was a blowout.
All right. Next game on the slate is going to be the Atlanta Falcons heading to Dallas. Dallas is looking for a bounce-back victory after getting shellacked by the Denver Broncos. The Atlanta Falcons are 4-4. Cowboys are 6-2. Cowboys are 7.5-point favorites. Over/under is a whopping 55 points. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I tell you what I got, man. I got Dallas pass defense is the 8th worst in the NFL, and I got Matt Ryan coming off a hot game, 23 of 30 for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. His number 1 connection was to the homie Cordero Patterson. Y'all know we are big fans of Cordero Patterson, 6 catches for 126 yards. Now, I want to pick this game as my upset pick of the week. Had it have not been for the Broncos do what they did last week against the Cowboys, embarrassing them the way they did, I think it now put the Cowboys kind of on notice, which they know they can't fall into another trap game here. The Broncos was probably a game they were looking at easy victory. Instead, you ended up getting blown out. Your quarterback had pretty much no statistics going into the fourth quarter. All the way down to the fourth quarter, had about 7 minutes left in the game. I mean, Dak Prescott still had no touchdowns on the board. I'm a risk it, man. No risk it, no biscuit. I'm going Falcons with the upset in this game. I'm going to take the over in this one. But I think Matt Ryan and Cordell Patterson are going to light it up. Look for Russell Gage to also be another factor in this game and the reason why they can move the ball offensively. If Mike Davis can get some positive yards on the ground today, that'll make things even easier. I'm going Falcons with the upset.
Not mad at you. I am not mad at you at all. I also want to throw out Zacchaeus. That's the other wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, who I think is going to kind of slip under the radar against this defense of the Dallas Cowboys. We all know the Dallas Cowboys do give up a lot of yardage. And the Cowboys running backs, I think they're going to have to play well if the Cowboys want to win this game. And we know Atlanta gives up a ton of yards on the ground. I think it's 142.8 yards the Falcons give up per game while rushing. So we'll see. Atlanta gives up 123, but Dallas averages 142 yards.
That's what it was, yeah. I remember that nugget you dropped on Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can contain that run game. I do think Zeke has a good game today, though. I think if you had to choose one of the two wide receivers for Dallas, I think I would choose CeeDee Lamb. It'll be interesting to see Michael Gallup's role in this game coming back from injury. I think Cowboys win this game. But I will give you the Falcons to cover the 7.5 to kind of piggyback your upset pick. I think Atlanta can make a game of it. I feel like every game Atlanta plays, they're in it at some point in the fourth quarter. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I feel like that's how it always is.
Their two losses that they had in their last 5 games actually were one score losses. So yeah, they're always in the mix, man. They're a better team than a lot of people anticipated.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take the over 2 for sure. Big shout out to Nick DeWick for the $1.99 super chat. Says, okay, one more. Ramondre Stevenson, Devin Singletary, or Darrell Williams for Kansas City? I'm taking Darrell Williams, Kansas City.
I'm taking Singletary. I like the matchup against the Jets.
Interesting. Zach Moss, man. I feel like Zach Moss, it's crazy. Singletary is the leading rusher there, but Zach Moss somehow seems to always steal touchdowns and stuff like that. So, but that's going to be an interesting game because they might run the ball a lot if they can get up, early on those Jets. We'll see. Next game on the slate is going to be the Carolina Panthers. They are headed to Arizona. Carolina has signed Cam Newton, but P.J. Walker will be playing quarterback. The Panthers are 4-5. The Cardinals 8-1. Cardinals are 8.5-point favorites. Over/under in this game is 42.5. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking like Kyler Murray won't play. DeAndre Hopkins won't play. So
hey,
we'll
shout out
see.
Kid Blues crazy ass in the chat one time talking all that Lamar Jackson stuff on his Twitter. And Nick DeWick said he needed 2 out of the 3.
Oh, 2 out of the 3?
Yeah, it was Ramondre, it was Singletary, and it was who was the third?
Darrell Williams. So I picked Williams, you picked Singletary. So go
there
Williams.
You go. That's 2 out of the 3 right there for you, man. Authentic and the Beard, left side, strong side. You know how we do.
Yes. So, I mean, Colt McCoy's back at it. I love Christian Kirk in this game if DeAndre Hopkins isn't out. He's been balling
Big
out.
Fat in the building. What up, fam?
I mean, this Carolina team, they got to find some offense somehow. Is CMC going to be the guy? We just don't know. Question for Authentic: are you going to repent for your Colt McCoy slander from last week?
Colt McCoy is average, man. He's so. What was the stat line like? I know he had a lot of yards, but let me see that Colt McCoy.
James Conner gave him was killing it for him for sure. There's another running back in this game. I don't know. I might let Authentic talk about it because.
Oh no, you can do it. You can do it. I know I scooped him up, but you can do it.
Eno Benjamin, man. We both like Eno Benjamin. I mean, I liked him coming out of college. He didn't get a lot of burn last year. He's going to kind of step into that third down back role for the Cardinals in this game. So I look for him to kind of be maybe a sneaky play on the low. And then Carolina, P.J. Walker is going to be playing quarterback. We know he was the man in the XFL. He's played okay at times in the NFL.
What a little bit of P.J. Walker versus Colt McCoy today. What were the odds on that happening? Somebody's a billionaire, I bet, because that is crazy. But Colt McCoy 1 touchdown last week, 200 and what was that? 200 and some odd yards. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, Colt McCoy. I'll give him his game managing props. I'll repent and give him his game managing props one time. Shout out to Cardinal Rule. Y'all know what it is. Go subscribe up to them, man. Great Cardinals content over there, yo.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals to, I don't know, 8.5. Does Carolina find a way to only lose by a touchdown? I'm going to take Carolina plus 8.5. I think the Cardinals win, but I think Carolina covers. I'm going to take the over 42.5. I think that somehow these teams find ways to put points on the board.
I was just thinking about picking the Panthers. I'm going to keep it funky with you, Kevin. And you know what I might start doing on the parlay is just pick the upset every game, and then we'll just chop up the one that works every week, put it on Twitter, and I'll look like a damn genius. All right? I cannot go with the Panthers in this game. But like the Beard talked about, man, I like both running backs in this situation for the Cardinals. Eno Benjamin, I'd look to see him probably come in on passing downs, things like that. And James Conner, man, he showed out last week, 21 carries, 96 yards. 77 through the air as well, man, and 3 scores. That's an old school James Conner, Pittsburgh kind of game right there. Definitely make sure to keep him in your lineups, man. Was PJ Walker the quarterback for the Defenders?
No, that was Cordero.
Oh, that was
Jones.
my man, Cordero. That's Dwayne Haskins' uncle.
Yeah.
But PJ Walker might be able to do a little something, man. I'd look for the Panthers to cover, though, and I'm going to take the over.
Man, you just threw off my whole game when you said PJ Walker versus Colt McCoy.
That is just, no one would have predicted that. PJ Walker versus Colt McCoy, that is just ridiculous.
It really is. Big shout out to Simon. He's got a question for us. Adrian Peterson or Mark Ingram at the flex. Also, is James Robinson playing? Because I might just play both AP and Ingram if he is not. James Robinson is playing.
Yep.
I would roll with Mark Ingram because I think he is in better playing shape at this current moment. And he has a backup quarterback in New Orleans, so I think they'll rely on him more. Adrian Peterson's kind of more of a crowded backfield sort of situation, so I would go with Mark Ingram.
Yeah, I think I go Mark Ingram. They're both going up against good defenses. That's the tough part right there. But I would definitely go James Robinson, Mark Ingram, who seemed to be a little bit more involved in the offense than Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson got the 6 carries early on, and you could tell they kind of got away from that plan later in the second half there. So, yeah, I'm going Mark Ingram on that one.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 65 people watching right now. Yes, it was the Guardians, I believe, in Texans or Houston team for the XFL.
Maybe I think we saw him the one game we went to. I think he was the quarterback for the other team.
I think so also. All right, next game on the slate. This is going to be the first official boat race of the day. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-5. They are heading to Los Angeles. The Chargers are 5-3. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 53.5 points. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, Dalvin Cook might go for 200 yards today. The Los Angeles Chargers are giving up a whopping 161.6 yards per game. The Minnesota Vikings have 5 losses by a total of 18 points. 2 of those losses coming in overtime. So I think this game is going to be a back and forth, shoot 'em up sort of style game. Minnesota cannot convert third downs. So if they want this game to go back and forth, they're going to have to convert some third downs. They're 25th in the NFL in converting third downs at a rate of 35.7%. Kirk Cousins, though, has only been sacked 10 times all year long. That is fantastic. 2 interceptions, the least amount of interceptions of any starting quarterback outside of Russell Wilson, who only has 1 interception, but he's been out for 5 weeks. If the Chargers want to be successful, they're going to have to protect Herbert, and I think Austin Eckler also has a huge game. I think both of these running backs have huge games. There's so many weapons on the field. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. The Vikings have Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I mean, this game could be a 48-41 sort of game. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win 48-41. We're definitely hitting the over. Boat race.
Big time boat race vibes. I think you covered all the players pretty much to talk about except one in this one, and that's Tyler Conklin. I've been talking about him for about 2 to 3 weeks now. He averaged 7 targets and just over 50 yards in his past 2 games. The Chargers have allowed 5 receiving touchdowns and 2 100-plus yard performances to tight ends in 8 games. I look for Conklin to be a bit of a sleeper in this game, somebody that might still be available out there that you can add to your roster to give you a couple more points in your lineup. I'm with you on the boat race vibes for sure. I'm going to take the over 53.5. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover, though, in this one. I think the Chargers are a much better team than the Vikings at this moment in time, and the Vikings are coming off of a bad performance last week, too.
Mm-hmm. Very disappointing. And
yeah.
That Dallas game, I'm still angry at you, Minnesota. I don't know what you guys botched that one, but
yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough.
Oh,
so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more games. We kind of got to fly so we can get to that lineup. Yep. So let's get to this next one.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the Seattle Seahawks get Russell Wilson back. They're 3-5. The Green Bay Packers get Aaron Rodgers back. They're 7-2. The Packers are favored by 3. The over/under in this game is 49.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Real quickly, Aaron Rodgers, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the year. And I was telling the Beard this off air. It's kind of like a middle of the road kind of year for him, right? It don't seem like he's crazy putting up those numbers, but then when you look at those touchdowns to interception ratio, it's just incredible. You talked about Russell Wilson with the 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's missed a bunch of games here, but the person I would look for in this game is Alex Collins, man. He's coming off that groin injury, should be fully healthy in this game. Even when he has been healthy, he hasn't had great games. He's had that one big game against Pittsburgh where he had 100-plus yards on 20 carries, and he only has 2 touchdowns all year. But if you're desperate for a running back like I am, you might want to look towards Alex Collins to scoop him up. He's cracked a double-digit fantasy points just twice all year in 7 appearances, but I'm looking for him to have a pretty big game against a good defense too, man. The Packers defense has been surprisingly pretty good this year. But give me the Packers in this game. I like the Packers to cover, and I'm going to take the over.
I also like the Packers to cover. I'm also going to take the over. Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones has a big game today. That Seattle Seahawks rush defense is pretty bad. They're giving up, I want to say, 127.6 yards on the ground to opposing running backs. So I think Aaron Jones has a big game. Devontae Adams is going to love having Aaron Rodgers back. I think he goes over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, and just real quickly, you know how people like to get on Odell Beckham about the mannerisms after a quarterback throws the ball bad? Did you see Devontae in that game with Jordan Love? Yo, passes getting thrown over his head out of bounds. He's just like, this mother. Like, come on, yo. Like, you know, that's how it be when the quarterback is not accurate, man, especially when you're a guy that's used to Aaron Rodgers. So I just wanted to throw that in there just a little bit.
And I got to give a big shout out to who I believe has been the most underrated, not talked about player in the last 10 years, and that is Seattle Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner. If he is only 7 tackles away from 100 tackles, and that's going to be his 10th straight season with at least 100 tackles. High of 167 tackles in one of those years in the last 10 years. He's just not a name you don't hear about, and I think he deserves a little bit more credit. So big shout out to Bobby Wagner. We both like the Packers in this game. We both like the Packers to cover. We both like the over. That really happens on this show. I don't know.
That does really happen. That's true.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next game on the slate, we're going to the NFC East. It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Denver. The Eagles are 3-6. The Broncos are 5-4. Broncos are favored by 1 point, so it's basically a pick 'em. The over-under is 45.5 points. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've talked about Noah Fant a lot already today, so I'm sure you guys know that we like Noah Fant in this game. I like Jerry Jeudy. I think the Eagles do a good job of taking away the deep pass, so I think they'll find a way to kind of contain, if you want to use that word, Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton, and I think that opens up a lot for Jerry Jeudy on the intermediate routes, the crossing routes, big third down plays, which we talked about a lot on Thursday's show. So I love Jerry Jeudy in this game. That's who I'm like is my star player I'm going to roll with. I think I've been back and forth on this game ever since Thursday.
Yeah.
I really think the Eagles have a really solid chance at winning this game. And at this point, it's like the spread is 1, so it's like it's basically a pick 'em game. Like you can't pick somebody to cover 1 point. I really don't understand that. So I guess it's just technically it's a pick 'em game. I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos. I just think that they're moving in the right direction. Not that the Eagles aren't, but I just think the Broncos have a little bit more cohesiveness as a team on the defensive side of the ball as opposed to the Eagles. And I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to win this game, and I'm going to take the over 45.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on the over for sure. I definitely think we're going to get there. It's going to be tough for Jalen Hurts and this Eagles team. The Broncos have the 8th best pass defense in the NFL right now, only allowing 223 yards per game. And the Eagles, they're going to have to continue to be really good on third down, man. 9th best third down offense in the league. I think a lot of that has to do with Jalen Hurts and the wheels he has, the legs. Having a pretty good season. We talked about it, man. 11 touchdowns through the air, 5 rushing, 4 interceptions. He's taking care of the ball, man, but he's been sacked 15 times in 9 games. I think in this game, if the Broncos are going to want to get a victory in this one, they're going to have to find a way to get to the quarterback. And I think whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. Man, this is one that I could definitely flip a coin on, but I'm going to keep it funky with y'all. As a New York Giants fan, I do not want to see the Eagles win this game. We're sitting tied right now with them, even though we're considered technically in third. Each team has 3 wins. I really don't want to see the Eagles win this game. But I think they're going to win it. It's crazy. I think they're going to win it. I'm going to pick the Eagles outright in this game. Melvin Gordon is somebody to keep your eye on. He's got 17-plus fantasy points in each of his last 2 games. I think if the Eagles are going to want to win this game, they got to find a way to stop Melvin Gordon.
Big shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 65 people watching right now. Leroy wants to know Van Jefferson or Dearness Johnson. I love Van Jefferson, but Dearness Johnson is today's go-to guy. He's probably going to touch the ball 30 times.
Yeah, if you got to pick between one of the two, you got to go to Ernest Johnson on this one. Even though Van Jefferson, man, with the injury to Robert Woods, he should step up and see a lot more targets. We'll see if that in return gets us a lot more fantasy points. But Ernest Johnson, no-brainer.
Yeah. So it's time for Sunday Night Football, right?
Oh, yeah. Sunday Night Football.
No day for Sunday night. It is the Kansas City. Oh, this is an AFC West gridiron matchup rivalry. Kansas City Chiefs, 5-4, 3-point favorites. They're headed to Vegas. The Raiders are 5-3. The over-under is 52.5 points. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Somebody was telling me the Raiders need to go ahead and get up out of Vegas, man. It's too much drama, too much trouble, too much nightlife, too much popping in the city of Las Vegas right now. But I like Derek Carr in this matchup. The Chiefs right now are giving up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Derek Carr coming off a tough game. Both of these teams are in the top 10 for the number of plays per game as well, too. So I'd look for this one to be another one that is also going to be a boat race. Look for both offenses to put up big numbers in this game. For sure, I'm looking for my man Patty Mahomes to have a bounce-back game in this one, too. And another player to keep your eye on, I think, in this one is Kenyon Drake, man. He had a tough game last week, but he did see 8 targets, 6 receptions against the New York Giants. The week before that against the Philadelphia Eagles, he had 14 rushes for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. So I'd look for him to at least be a little bit in the mix. Now, we know the Raiders went out there and they signed, I said shined because I was about to say Jackson Deshaun. They signed Deshaun Jackson. And I think this might be primetime game. Deshaun Jackson might get himself a big touchdown. Keep your eyes on him. You know me, I'm more of a proof in the pudding kind of guy. I probably wouldn't put him in the starting lineup, but at least keep your eyes on him. And maybe in the DraftKings world, you can find him pretty cheap and maybe get yourself a couple of points. But I got to take the Chiefs in this game. I think it'll be a boat race, but I got to take the Chiefs in this one. And who's the favorite? I didn't even see who the favorite was in this one.
Chiefs are favored by 3.
Yeah, Chiefs will cover.
Ooh. I got to give a big shout out to Tim One, who says he just found this channel and has subbed. Tim One, welcome to the family. Appreciate you stopping by, brother.
Big salute,
Look,
Tim. Big salute.
I really like the running backs in this game. I know it's really easy to talk about Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, but I like the running backs in this game because both of these teams have really bad run defenses. So yeah. I think, you got Kansas City is going to put up Darrell Williams. Oakland is allowing 133.5 yards per game on the ground. Kansas City is allowing 121.8 yards on the ground. So I like the running backs in this game. I think that's going to be, an interesting thing to keep your eye on, whether it's Drake, Josh Jacobs, Darrell Williams. It's
Josh Jacobs, who was running well against the Giants, too. It seemed like because of the turnovers and being behind on the scoreboard, they were forced to kind of get away from the run. But Josh Jacobs was doing his thing.
I'm going to take the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders to cover.
There you go. It's tricky.
I was literally about ready to do it. I mean, this game is in Vegas. The Raiders need a bounce-back win. They got to bye. It's tough. I think the Raiders have a really, really good shot at winning this game, but I think the Chiefs win by 1 point. So I'm going to take the Raiders to cover. I am going to take the over 52.5. Look for both of these running backs in this game to have big games. And it's time for Monday Night Football. It is.
Got to get that tone.
Los Angeles Rams
are
are 7-2. They are 3.5-point favorites. They're heading to the Bay. San Francisco 49ers, they're 3-5. The over-under in this game is 50.5 points. Kickoff is Monday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The word on the street is OBJ is gonna play. I mean, that's
Crazy.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I think this game is going to be a lot of fun. I really do. Obviously, you get another division game here with the Rams and the Niners. Elijah Mitchell, Darrell Henderson, another good game featuring good running backs. It'll be really interesting to see, though, what the Rams do, to follow up that loss to the Tennessee Titans. The 49ers are such a really difficult team to gauge. I don't know what I'm going to get from them week in and week out. The one thing I do know is George Kittle is back. And I love watching George Kittle play football.
Yeah, that's a football player.
I love watching him play football. I think the Rams I think the Rams come out on top. I do think the 49ers do a good job at staying in the game for a lot of it, but I think the Rams have a lot to prove tonight and on Monday night and on national television. So I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams to cover the 3.5, and I'm going to take the over 50.5. I think the Rams put up 30-plus points in this game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you as far as the Rams covering and taking the over. Is Von Miller going to be active in this game?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry, I missed
Is
that.
Von Miller going to be active in this game?
He's half and half right now.
I got you.
They're not 100% sure. They don't want to rush back his ankle injury.
Yeah, I definitely like Matthew Stafford in this matchup, coming off his worst game of the season to the Titans. Had 2 interceptions. He only had 13.1 fantasy points. So I'd look for him to bounce back heavy against the 49ers here. Even without Robert Woods with the torn ACL, he's going to be out for the year. Wouldn't look for Odell Beckham to really do much in the passing game. I know they were talking about maybe putting him on special teams, which I don't like that idea either. This will probably be a boat race, I imagine, because the 49ers are going to have to, keep up with the Rams. But one person I don't like in this game is Elijah Mitchell, or I really don't like the 49ers running game at all, to be honest. The Rams defense held Jonathan Taylor and Leonard Fournette to under 6.5 fantasy points. Running backs have only averaged 79 yards against this Rams unit. So give me the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams to cover, and I think as far as the over-under, we are definitely going to get there.
Ooh, OBJ, under or over 5 receptions?
Under. Come on, that's a no-brainer. Under. How is he going? What offense did he learn in 3 days? I might even go under 5 snaps on offense.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see him being out there, man. I really don't. It's just too early. They just printing up the jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a little bit too early to be thinking OBJ out here.
I think the one benefit was the fact that the game's on Monday and not Sunday. I think that gives him a little bit of leeway.
Helps. Yeah, that helps. That helps.
I'm actually starting him in one of my lineups. It's my worst
wild.
team.
That's
my worst team. So I was like, you know what? Let's just have some fun.
Let's just have some fun. Yeah, they're gonna get that 0.8. You're gonna be like, oh man.
Big shout out to Marjorie, holding us down in the chat always. I know she has some other stuff to do today, but she has come in time to remind us snow game in Green Bay.
That should be fun.
Shout out graphics department. When December comes, we're going to need some snow to fall.
Now we're going to need some snow.
Now we're going to need some snow. We're going to need some snow for the December games. Anytime there's a snow game.
I'm starting to feel for those workers in the graphics department, man. They got a lot on their plate these days, man. And the editing department.
Oh man, hopefully we can have some good stuff to send to the editing floor after today's games. But yes, we are introducing a new portion of the parlay, and this is going to be where we drop a DraftKings lineup that we have approved together. And this is a lineup that we are actually playing in multiple tournaments on DraftKings today. And then on Tuesday's show, if you guys don't know, we are live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then do not forget the giant overreaction with Awthentik, which is every Monday. Make sure you guys hit that the bell notification so you guys know exactly when Awthentik comes on for giant overreaction, because that show is always a treat. So yeah, we're gonna drop the lineup, and then Tuesday we will review the lineup and let you guys know how we fared in competition with this lineup. Are you ready, sir? This is our DraftKings lineup. At quarterback, we have Justin Herbert. We're going to stack Justin Herbert with Mike Williams and Jared Cook at tight end. Our running backs are going to be Mark Ingram, Jonathan Taylor, And then we're throwing Dalvin Cook in the flex. Now, Dalvin Cook in the flex is an afternoon game, and that's a lot of salary. So depending on how the 1 o'clock game goes, we can always move him out for somebody else if need be. We're going with that Cleveland Browns defense. And then rounding it out at wide receivers is Jamison Crowder and Zacchaeus for the Falcons. What do you like most about this lineup, Awthentik?
The stacks, man. That was why I agreed for this one, man. The Justin Herbert, Jared Cook, Mike Williams stack, man. If they could put up some big numbers in that game today, man, this would be definitely a fantastic lineup here. There was a couple other ones that were out there, but I thought this one had the most balance. I love the Browns defense. I talked about that earlier, man. One of the best defenses against the run right now. I'd look for them to maybe cause a couple turnovers. They got Denzel Ward getting back up in the lineup there, man. You know, he's an interception maniac as well. And I like Mark Ingram as a sleeper at running back too. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's the obvious pick at running back there. He's been balling out. You had those statistics, with over 600 yards in the last couple of games. I mean, he's just been doing his thing. So, I mean, I like it. It's a pretty even lineup. I think we lack a little bit at wide receiver with Crowder and Zacchaeus a little bit there. We're kind of hoping a little bit there, but I think the stack is gonna take us to where we need to go.
Yeah, and another thing too is I think that, you know, if Zacchaeus and Crowder end up having good games, we're going to jump out ahead of the field because those guys are probably going to be under 10% owned in DraftKings. And I think the thing with Jamison Crowder is when last time when Mike White played a full game, Crowder put up, I think, 17 or 18 DraftKings points. So it's definitely, you know, and Zacchaeus without Calvin Ridley, he kind of had his breakout game last week. And I think Atlanta's going to have to throw the ball at some point if Dallas starts putting up those points, you know. So it's going to be interesting, man. But we're going to cross our fingers and we're going to hope for some money. Big shout out to Lax Ofofo wants to know Zach Moss or Elijah Mitchell.
I'm going to just let you get that one. I'm going to let you. You've been talking about Zach Moss all day. I'm going to just let you get that one.
I'm going to go with Zach Moss, man. I like Zach Moss today. And, I mean, Awthentik kind of just made me not like Elijah Mitchell at all after that breakdown in that Rams.
That Rams defense, game. Man. 6.5 fantasy points to Leonard Fournette and Jonathan Taylor. That's something to hang your hat on for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Man. It's another parlay in the books.
Another one in the books. I'm excited for today's games too, man. At least I know that my Giants aren't going to lose the game, which is that's amazing. I get to watch Washington football team with a very dedicated eye. I think, you know, last week when I had my Giants playing the Raiders, when there's a lot of games at 1 o'clock in the NFC East, it's hard to keep your eyes on all of them. So I have to go back and you know, kind of rewatch those games and rewatch highlights. Today I'm gonna have the red zone popping. So I'm just going to be chilling, man. You know what it is, man. Just coaches vibes, man. Scouting y'all against the Bucs, seeing where we can maybe excel when we get to play them coming out the bye next week. Hope y'all put up a good fight to give us a little bit more hope that we could probably get that win. And keep my eyes on the Chargers, man. A lot of these games, man, I'm going to have my eyes on the Chiefs at Raiders Sunday night. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I like how they have that Sunday night and Monday night, are both division games.
Yeah. Yeah, finally, man. They've been neglecting the divisional games here early.
I feel like there are teams that have played not only multiple division games in other divisions, but have played a team twice.
Yeah.
And
the Bills with the Jets are like that. And with the Dolphins, right? Aren't the Dolphins in that division? I might be tripping.
Yeah, they are. And we've played one NFC East game so far.
You remember what Lucas said when we asked him about how did you know the Dolphins were going to win the game? And he was like, they starting to use Thursday Night Football like WWE Monday Night Raw or something like that. And he was pretty much leaning towards the games being a little bit fixed. Now, I was on Xbox with a couple of the homies, and another one of their homies is a Miami Dolphins fan. He said the same thing, dog. He was like, yeah, I think the games are fixed. Dolphins weren't supposed to win that game. I'm like, it's wild that two Dolphins fans literally thought the exact same way, man. But I don't know what to think here, man. But the schedule gods definitely did not bless the Washington football team or the New York Giants for that matter. The Cowboys kind of got a pretty decent schedule there. But outside of them, man, the NFC East has pretty much struggled as far as the schedule matchups, man. And I think that has a lot to do with why Taylor Heineke has been playing such bad football. I mean, a lot of it has to do with these matchups, and the injuries aren't helping for sure.
Yeah, so let's go Washington. Let's go out there and get this victory. Shout out to all my Washington football team fans.
You sound
Who
so
knows?
enthusiastic right now.
No, I'm
Go out here and get this win.
I'm actually, because listen, I want to kind of, calm before the storm, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, like, I kind of got this feeling, Authentic.
Y'all gonna win?
I'm not going to say we're going to win, but I kind of got this feeling like.
What kind of feeling you got?
I got
You gonna
that
play a close game?
I got that. I got that
Jacksonville Bills vibes?
That Jacksonville Bills vibes, man.
I don't know, man. This is not Josh Allen. This is Tom Brady.
And everybody mad at Chase Young, because he said he out here getting his bread. Leave him alone.
They're mad at him now. God, like, you can't say anything now. I hate Twitter. I hate media. It's just the worst, man. You literally cannot say anything. We should stop putting. Can the players just not go to the podium? If I'm Ron Rivera, can I just send like the backup tackle to go out there and talk to the press?
No, man, that would be messed up, man.
Ask him a bunch of questions he don't know the answers to.
Yeah. We're going to send out the Beard. He's going to be answering all of the Washington football team presser conference questions for the rest of the season.
There's a Giants guy who does content for the Giants. Man, I don't want to butcher his name, but he's an OG for sure, triple OG. He's up there, and he does a press conference after every game for the Giants. That's his content. It's just him. I think it's. I don't want to butcher his name. I know someone in the chat knows his name.
That's
but
awesome.
they're hilarious, dog. Like every week, that's all he does. He just does a fake presser where like as if they sent him up there. But that's what they should do with you, man. Because I mean, anything Chase Young says at this point, they're gonna scrutinize him for it.
Man, look at my Washington football team, people. I don't know what you had this morning,
two pills, toothpick. 2 pills of insanity.
Kevin says, "Is this a replay from the Kansas City week?"
Shout out, Kevin. What's
Cernock
up?
says, "I have that. Take a nap and wake up to a 28-6 Bucks lead at halftime."
Wow, wow. The disrespect, Cernock.
All right.
Oh, here goes another one for you too.
Is Tim going to disappear from its live too? Oh man, last night was interesting. Shout out to Susie and to flip it. Last night was pretty funny.
I can only imagine how it went when your mic went. I was probably just.
Well, the thing is so funny is Tracy froze up at the same time too. And I knew that I knew it was something like what it was, but like, and they got all this backdoor stuff Tommy got going on to get into their lives, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
Tommy was trying to tell me, y'all should just make the transition to Mixer, man. It's real easy. And I went and I looked at it. I was like, nothing about this look easy, bro. This is not going to be a flawless, smooth transition into a new platform. But I definitely feel you, man. And they're just going on their podcast is an adventure in its own. I remember last time we went on that podcast, season 1 of Awthentik and The Beard. We was on that podcast till like 5 in the morning. It was like an 8-hour podcast. I'm like, you know how like you don't know how to leave the room? I'm one of them dudes that's like, I'm waiting for the right exit to be like, hey, guys, I think I got to go. But they're just like, they just conversation after piece after piece after piece after piece. And I'm just answering, slouching in my chair, my back killing me about the 5th hour. Scotty was on that joint, hammered drunk by the time we were done. Very interesting vibes with Tommy and Tracy over there. But shout out to Tommy and Tracy. I don't even know what to call that kind of a podcast. That's just like.
It's a late night show like Howard Stern. I think that's.
Yeah, it's kind of got some Howard Stern vibes, but there's a little bit more of a reseller vibes too. You can't forget the reseller vibes they're throwing out there. But
they had a lot of high praise for Awthentik and The Beard for what we do over here. So
hey, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. We appreciate them for sure, man. Tommy's been a big supporter of Awthentik and The Beard since we had nothing going on over here. Tommy was always supporting us, man. So big shout out to them. And this is the dude who does the pressers, Vic. I don't even know how you say that. Take your best chance at that.
Oh, yeah. Vic DeBididi. Vic.
It's not African. It's not an African name. It's probably like Italian or something.
It's Italian. We need Tudo in here.
DB. Come on, bro.
It's Vic DeBito.
DeBito. Sure.
No.
Can somebody help us
like
out with
stiletto. It's like stiletto, but DeBetto.
But there's sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you got that one right. I key that one.
I'm pretty sure I'm there, man.
What made you approach that like that?
I got stuck on all the T's, man.
I know, it looks crazy. It looks crazy, bro. DeBetto. Somebody corrected it. DeBetto. DeBetto. Shout out to Formula Fitness one time in the building. Yo, we having too much fun up here, man. Hey, but yo, solid show, man. We appreciate everybody pulling up in the building, man. Y'all know what it is. We couldn't do this without the fam in the chat, man. And we got a couple of new subscribers and some new faces in the chat today, man. We appreciate y'all pulling up as well. Definitely couldn't do this without the squad in the building. Y'all know what it is. Giants Nation is in the building. Any last little nuggets or last words before we get up out of here, the Beard?
Man, barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce.
Big nuggets. Big sweet and sour sauce. I need McDonald's to go to Popeyes, get them a little bit of that sweet heat. I need some nuggets with some sweet heat sauce on it one time because I've been mixing the barbecue with the sweet and sour. I think McDonald's did something with their barbecue sauce. It's a little bit more tangier these days. I don't know, maybe the packaging changed. You know how like something could just, what is that called, placebo effect? When you change the package and I think it's got a different taste to it. I'm not too sure, man. But definitely need some sweet. I need some sweet heat vibes because after that rat video from Popeyes, I ain't had a chicken sandwich. I ain't had a spicy chicken sandwich since, bro. I don't even know if I'm going to ever have a spicy chicken sandwich ever again, man. Or I haven't had fast food since then, man. That video really is traumatizing for me, man. I'm a big fast food eater, but, man, we definitely appreciate y'all. We still got 50 in the building, man. Y'all make sure to enjoy these games. Best of luck with your fantasy today. Best of luck with your betting if you're throwing some money out there on the line, man. And best of luck for your teams, man, that are in these games. I know we got a lot of fans of just teams, and I hope y'all can get some W's outside of the NFC East, man. Y'all know what it is. Keep living those dreams. Keep raising that bar, man. Y'all know what it is. Awthentik and The Beard. Let's get some biceps in that chat before we get up out of here. We're not going to get up out of here until I see at least one bicep in the chat. Shout out Sunday one time in the building early with them biceps before I could even say anything. Y'all know what it is. Left side.
Strong side.
Y'all be good, man. Enjoy them games today. Red zone, red zone, red zone, red zone, red zone.
Washington victory.
Peace, y'all.